Welcome to Lymphedema Podcast. I'm Betty Westbrook, a certified lymphedema therapist and the voice behind Lymphedema Podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to provide answers and explanations for people affected by the lymphatic disease, lymphedema. This podcast is for patients, family members, medical professionals, and anyone interested in lymphedema. Each month, I will discuss a new topic related to this disease to help you learn more and navigate better your journey ahead. Between shows, you can catch me on IGTV or Instagram TV, as well as monthly live Q&A sessions. I'm so passionate about teaching others about lymphedema that I created this podcast just for you. Thanks for joining me. I hope you're ready to learn something new today. Disclaimer. As a certified lymphedema therapist, all information provided is based on my professional experiences and education. I recommend that anyone who feels they have lymphedema or have been medically diagnosed with lymphedema seek in-person medical treatment from a certified lymphedema therapist. Today's episode is sponsored by Juzo. They're an international manufacturer and distributor of quality compression garments. Hey everybody, welcome back for episode 52 of Lymphedema Podcast. With so many garments on the market, it's hard to keep up. Do you take advice of a friend who swears by this brand or product, or do you set out to research what might be better for you? If you choose the first option, you're often left disappointed and frustrated. Disappointed it didn't work out, and frustrated you spent the money. But if you choose to research and learn about compression alone, you might also end up disappointed and frustrated. Disappointed that you still don't have a compression garment, and frustrated that you're more confused than when you started. Even as a CLT, I need help understanding the difference in garments, their unique role, special features, and I sure can't do that alone, and neither should you. So today, I'm talking with Juzo's Education Manager, Caroline, to get a better understanding of the difference between flat knit and circular knit compression garments. Caroline, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thank you.
Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So my name is Caroline Pinney, and as you said, I'm the National Education and Training Manager for Juzo here in the United States. I've been with Juzo for about 10 years, and when I started with Juzo, I didn't know very much about lymphedema. My background is more so on the cardiovascular side of things. But now, fast forward 10 years later, lymphedema is a passion of mine and something that is very dear to my heart.
Great. Well, mine too. Lymphedema is what I do day in and day out. And obviously the reason why I created this podcast so that I could reach out to people like you and get this information for everyone who's struggling with lymphedema. So today I'm going to do something different for our conversation. I'm going to act as if I have no clue about compression. Essentially, I'm just going to ask you every question that I've been asked by a patient in the clinic.
Awesome.
So usually that person has very little understanding of lymphedema, and compression is a treatment option. So at the end, I'll ask you some specific questions that have been submitted by listeners, but we're going to jump into just some generic questions, okay?
Sounds great.
So first, we'll hit the highlights and start with, what is compression? Why would I need compression? Because I have lymphedema.
That is absolutely a great question. So medical compression is graduated millimeters of mercury that provide resistance against your skin and tissue. So medical compression is meant to keep edema from returning to the limb. So you will use compression to keep the limb at bay or to keep it at the same size. So once a patient has worked with a lymphedema therapist and they have achieved maximum reduction of the limb, medical compression is then utilized to keep the limb where it's at.
Can I wear that at night?
So medical compression is contraindicated for nighttime use. There are specific nighttime garments that are made so that they are safe for a patient to wear at night. But medical compression, whether you're talking about flat knitted garments or circular knitted garments, are contraindicated for nighttime use. So the reason for that is because there's a fear that while you're sleeping, the garment could bunch up at night and you wouldn't realize it, and it could cut off circulation. So you should not wear a compression garment at night. If you want or need to use a compression garment at night, you should get something that is made specifically for nighttime use.
So if my leg is only stage 1, just a little bit of swelling, do I still need compression right now?
Oh, absolutely. So when you think about the stages of lymphedema, they are not defined by the size of the limb, but rather the consistency of the tissue. And the whole idea is to try to stay in those lower stages, and a medical compression garment through your compliance, daily wearing it in your waking hours, is going to help keep the limb in that stage. So medical compression is going to be your friend in keeping the limb at that stage. So you need to wear your compression garment every day and really understand that it's an essential part of managing the disease.
All right. Which one would I wear? Flat knit or circular for my leg?
Okay, so that's a really good question. And so when you think about how these medical compression garments are manufactured, the process is very different. So a circular knitted garment, we will put measurements into one of our machines, and the machine will knit around and around and around in a circular manner. And a circular knitted garment is made without a seam. Circular knitted garments are usually going to be utilized for someone who has a limb that is still anatomical in shape. Now, a flat knitted garment.
Normal?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Does that mean normal?
A limb still looks like a limb, an anatomical shape. So that doesn't mean that you don't have a normal limb if your limb isn't anatomical, but an anatomical shape, it just means that you still have a limb that looks like a limb, and it doesn't have a lot of lobes and folds and soft loose hanging tissue. Someone who presents with a limb that has a lot of lobes and folds and soft loose hanging tissue, or maybe you have drastic changes in circumferential measurements, that limb is going to do better in something that's made specifically for an individual. So a flat knitted garment has more rigor in the knit, and a flat knitted garment is a customized solution for a patient. So that means we knit the garment specifically for your limb. So it's called a custom garment. Flat knitted garments, by and large, are going to be made specifically for each individual patient's limb. So a circular knitted garment is made in standard sizes, meaning I take your measurements on your leg, and let's say your measurements fit into a size chart. We can just pull the garment off and hand you a box, and you've got yourself a standard size circular knitted garment. You can also have circular knitted garments made in custom solutions, but by and large, circular knitted garments are going to be reserved for someone that has an anatomical shape, a limb that still looks like a limb. And again, a flat knitted garment is going to be a customized solution, so it's going to be something that's made specifically for each individual patient. So a customized solution is going to be made with that flat knitted garment. And the flat knitted garment is a little bit more rigorous. It has a little bit more stiffness, so it's going to be really, really valuable in helping folks that have tougher to treat limbs or situations where they are in the higher stages of lymphedema.
So my circulation in my legs is the main cause of my swelling. Which garment would be better for me?
So when you say that you have circulation issues, that could be venous disease, or it could be something else like lymphedema. So both of those are circulatory systems in your body. And really, at the end of the day, there's no black and white answer to that. It really depends on each individual patient. It really depends on your story. Sometimes people have circulation issues that are both venous disease and lymphedema. So you really just depends on your individual prognosis.
And I really like to dress up every day. How can my garments coordinate with my wardrobe? I don't want to wear
my gosh.
I don't want to wear an ugly brown garment every day.
Oh my gosh, you're talking to the right person. At Juzo, we really pride ourselves in all of the beautiful fashion choices that we have for people. So when you think about what is aesthetically appealing, that really has an individual answer. So sometimes people do like to match their garment with their skin tone. So maybe they want a beige or they want a chestnut or a brown or a black. And that's absolutely great. But what we're finding more and more is that people like to express themselves with their fashion choices. And medical compression can absolutely give people individuality. We have beautiful colors. We also have print patterns that are available on some sizes. And I got to tell you, we have some tattoo designs, henna prints, and all kinds of colorful designs. And sometimes people think, oh, tattoo designs, that's going to be for, the 20-somethings. I was just working with an 86-year-old lady, and she was rocking out a tattoo design on her affected arm, and she got a compression level 0, which is not medical compression. She got that for her other arm so that it could match. So it was really cute, and it really just depends on everyone's style. But it's important to remember, you get a compression wardrobe over time. It's not as though you get a beige arm sleeve and that's going to be the only thing that you ever have. You kind of start to get a wardrobe over time. Maybe you get the tattoo design, because you think it's really fun and you want to wear that out. Maybe you get a special color to match an outfit for a special wedding or an occasion, and you just develop that over time. So there's lots of choices. It doesn't have to be boring at all.
I think that's so cool that she wanted to get a sleeve that matches. I mean, that's awesome. This is Betty
adorable.
CLT talking again.
Yeah, it's really cool. And like I said, tattoo designs and henna designs are definitely one of our best sellers. And like I said, don't think that the 86-year-old lady just wants a beige sleeve. They will surprise you. They will rock out those colors and the tattoo designs and hennas. It's awesome.
I think that is cool. Okay, so back to the questions here. How is it so stretchy? How is the sleeve so stretchy? When I pull it out of the box, it looks teeny tiny, like it's not going to fit me. But how does it stretch like that?
So medical compression is derived by having graduated compression. And what that means is when you look at the part of the garment that's the furthest away from your heart, that's where 100% of the value of compression starts. And then you have a gradual lessening version of that compression as you move your way towards the top of the sleeve. So that's what gives the garment its medical compression, right? That's what's making it work. That's what's keeping the swelling out. Now, when a manufacturer does take the time and effort to make a garment have two-way stretch, that's what you're talking about. That's when you not only find the horizontal stretch, which makes the garment work, but when you have that vertical stretch, that is a true measure of a quality compression garment. When you think about the stretchiness of a fabric, that is important. It's going to allow the product to stay in place once you put it on, and it's also going to make the product more comfortable. So two-way stretch is a really, really important measure of a good quality product. So the reason it has stretch, again, is going to allow the product to stay in place and also allow you to have that freedom of range of motion. And really, the idea is you put that arm sleeve on or you put your garment on, you carry on with your activities of daily living, and you kind of forget you're wearing it. So that's a good quality measure.
And if I have a latex allergy, will I break out? Is there latex in the sleeve?
So all of Juzo's compression garments at our company, we are a completely latex-free company. So you don't have to worry about having that overexposure to latex or rubber that you may have with other manufacturers. So the owner of our company made Juzo a latex-free company about 12 years ago so that folks don't have to worry about that. But, latex allergies can be a problem. It can be something, as simple as having just a little bit of itchy skin or bumps, all the way to, having an anaphylactic reaction. So it's something that you definitely need to ask each individual manufacturer, which products are made with latex and which are not. But at Juzo, all of our products are latex free.
So my arm isn't very swollen. My CLT says that it's a stage 1. Can I just buy an easy garment off the shelf, or do I have to spend big money on a custom garment?
So that's a good question. And first of all, when you are talking about being in those early on stages of lymphedema, it's extremely important to remember that it's still very important to wear your medical compression garment, especially when you are engaged in high-risk activities such as repetitive motion or exercise. So even though you are in those lower stages of lymphedema, whether it's stage 0 or active swelling stage 1, you should still wear your medical compression garment. So medical compression is really meant to assist your body with circulation. So it's going to help assist your body in moving lymph back to the top of the body, and it's also going to assist your body in that venous return. So medical compression should be worn. And that's really a conversation between a patient and their lymphedema therapist as to, the schedule. But most of the time, folks are told to put their arm sleeve on first thing in the morning and keep that arm sleeve on until right before you go to bed. It's also important to remember that the FDA does not regulate the compression industry. A lot of people don't realize that. So what that means is that you have a lot of compression. Like if you put in the Google machine right now, medical compression garment, you'd probably see hundreds and hundreds of compression popping up on your screen. But the important thing to remember is that the FDA doesn't regulate the industry. And what that means is that they're not testing garments for the compression level that's listed on the tag, or even if that compression is displayed in a graduated manner. So what that means is you have a lot of irreputable manufacturers and distributors of just compression, and it's not really good medical compression. It's what I call, get ready for this, crap-pression. But it's true. You have to be careful. You have to have a buyer beware mentality, unfortunately, because the industry isn't regulated. So just know who you're getting your compression from. It's really important. And at Juzo, we have our own state-of-the-art testing facility. We even have a dedicated employee that tests garments day in and day out. So it's important to remember that.
I think that's good to mention the FDA not regulating compression, because I'm thinking of a patient right now. He's one of the last patients I had before going on maternity leave, and he brought me a trash bag full of different compression garments. None of them.
Were they crap pression?
They were all crap pression. Yes.
Yep.
He brought me a bag of crap, basically.
It's so sad.
They're the ones that zip up the side.
Yes.
That are just like regular socks. Open toe, closed toe, just for the calf. So no foot compression, just like the calf sleeves. I'm trying to think. And all different colors, all different lengths. And the problem is he can't wear any of them.
Mm-hmm.
He sees it in a catalog, or he sees it on TV, or he saw it on a shelf at Academy or some other athletic store, and he buys them up. Well, he's wasted hundreds and hundreds of dollars on it. And then when I present to him the opportunity to get a custom knee-high from Juzo, it blows his mind that it's a couple $100s, but he's just wasted a couple $100s over the years on garments that don't fit. And I hate that for the patients who are really desperately searching for something, but those small increments that you spend on it, $20, $30, $50 at a time, that builds up, and you're more and more frustrated that you have crap pression and it's not helping you any. When really, if you would just save up that money and say, I'm going to spend $150 on a quality garment, and your insurance doesn't cover it, well, then you have at least a quality garment and you can save up for the next round. But in the meantime, you're getting good compression. And that is so true that I see so many people just like bring in crazy stuff that they saw on like a late night infomercial, and it just doesn't work. It's not the same thing for lymphedema when they talk about swelling and edema on those infomercials.
It's so true. And it's important to remember, certainly when you get into a flat knitted custom garment, it's going to be a little more expensive than a circular knitted off the shelf solution. So it doesn't have to be hundreds of dollars to get a pair of knee highs. When you think about a circular knitted standard size garment, that may be what somebody needs to use to maintain the swelling on that limb. It doesn't always have to be a flat knitted custom garment. And another really important thing to remember is that, as you said, people just accumulate these garments and they don't realize that the garments aren't regulated by the FDA, and it can do more harm than good. I have seen people get, skin damage from, something bunching in at the instep. I've seen garments, the crap pression garments, being tested at our facility. We just tested it to see. And they test for reverse gradient compression. You're sending fluids in the wrong direction. So I think it's just such an important point. As you said, don't waste your money. Just get a good quality garment. It's worth it. In the long run, it's worth it.
Yeah, definitely worth it.
Family owned since 1912, Juzo manufactures a variety of compression therapy garments designed specifically to offer people impacted by venous and lymphatic conditions the freedom to keep moving and maintain an active lifestyle. A global leader, Juzo provides solutions to help improve its customers' quality of life. Juzo continuously invests in technology, process improvements, and quality of materials to ensure its products provide comfort, style, ease of use, medical therapy, and value. Also, Juzo's trend colors and fun print designs promote comfort and fashion without compromising therapeutic compression. Learn more at JuzoUSA.com. That's JUZOUSA.com.
So if I need a custom garment, my CLT tells me that there's different types of materials. How do I know which material to select?
So typically, fabric selection is going to be a decision that your lymphedema therapist will come up with, or a good certified fitter. Often it's a team approach. The type of fabric that you choose is really going to be determined by where you're at in terms of the stage of lymphedema. So circular knitted products have less rigor in the fabric, and flat knitted products have a little bit more rigor, so they are more containing. So that's really going to have to do with where you're at in terms of the stage of lymphedema that you've been diagnosed with. So we always say, go ahead.
She threw out some words like silver and expert. Are those flat knit or circular knit, or is that a different type of garment?
So, at Juzo, our two main fabrics for lymphedema are the two circular knitted fabrics are going to be the Juzo Soft and the Juzo Dynamic. And then our two flat knitted products are Juzo Expert and Juzo Strong. So those are the types of fabrics that you're usually going to be dealing with when you're working with lymphedema. Now, Expert is going to be the flat knitted product that is used most of the time for folks that need a customized solution. And as I said, it really just depends where you're at and, how you present, what your limb looks like. If it has, a lot of circumferential changes or variations, you're probably going to be in a flat knitted garment. But that's not to say that you're always going to be a flat knitted garment just because you have a limb that's a little bit bigger. Certainly, we see a lot of people in circular knitted solutions. So the expert is just the name of the fabric, and silver is an option. Silver is an option that you can have your garment made with. So we use 100% silver compression fibers and we knit it right into our compression garment. It's an excellent option for anybody that has any type of skin integrity issues, history of ulcerations. Silver is a natural fiber, and it's anti-odor, it's heat dissipating, it's moisture wicking, and it can also kill off surface bacteria. So it's a really awesome, powerful option for people, as I said, that are having trouble with skin issues, or maybe they're in a hot climate like Texas, like where you're at. Mm-hmm. The silver can pull the heat away from the body. So it's a really good option. And again, it doesn't have to be in every fabric, but it's something that you can choose as an option.
So my hands and my fingers, they swell the most, but my arm from my wrist to my armpit is totally normal. Can I mix and match the types of garments that I order?
Sure, you absolutely can. When you think about lymph, it does like to go the path of least resistance. So if you're finding that you have a lot of swelling in your hands or your fingers or both, then that's telling me that, we're leaving that area unprotected. So maybe you can get away with using a gauntlet, which is basically a fingerless glove, and you can use a gauntlet with your arm sleeve if you don't have a lot of swelling. But if you find that you do have a lot of swelling, you may need to move into a glove. So a glove is obviously going to involve your hand and your fingers. So you can mix and match the fabrics. You may find that you're experiencing more swelling in your hands and your fingers, and maybe you can get away with managing the edema in your arm with a soft arm sleeve or the dynamic arm sleeve, which are circular knitted, but you may need to use a flat knitted fabric to manage the swelling in your hands. So again, that's going to be a conversation that is going to involve probably your lymphedema therapist and your fitter, and they can determine what's best for you. But yeah, you can absolutely mix and match the fabrics. It just depends on your personal situation.
And I'm a really active person. I'm walking a lot. I'm moving a lot. How do I know this garment isn't going to fall down all the time and I'm going to have to go to the bathroom and adjust it?
That's a great question. So first of all, if you're active, yay, kudos to you. That's one of the best things you can do in managing lymphedema is to keep moving. So that's great. But we also know that when you're involved in exercising, you're active, you really should protect that limb. So you want to wear a well-fitted medical compression garment. And at the end of the day, you should put that garment on, as I said, first thing in the morning, and then take it off at the end of the day. If you find that when you're engaged in, a lot of exercising or activity, and if your garment is falling down, that tells me that that's not a good, well-fitted garment. Maybe you need to go back to that certified fitter or your lymphedema therapist and have those measurements taken again. A lot can change. If you lose weight, if you find that, you've had the garment for a long period of time, that can be the reason that your garment is falling. But a good, well-fitted garment should not fall down with activity. If you find that it is, then maybe you need to choose a different type of fabric, or maybe you need to go down a size. But certainly your garment should not fall down throughout the day. And if it is, you need to get a different garment.
That's good to know. I actually get that question a whole lot, so that's why I definitely use that one today.
Usually when somebody says that it's falling down, I tend to believe that the garment's getting older and it's losing some of its efficacy. And, maybe, they don't realize they've had it for 6 months. The garments have memory threads, and they'll wear out over time. So when someone's saying they're experiencing the slippage, it typically tells me that they're ready for a new garment.
In my experience, what I've seen, aside from just overuse, is that their thigh is a lot softer and fattier. And so while the, silicone dots may grab, as they walk and move, it kind of binds and it'll pinch and it'll just kind of like roll over in half. So the seam at the top with the silicone band just kind of folds over on itself, and it's usually just because they have like a lot
of lobes and folds and soft, loose hanging tissue.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, it's not even like hanging. It's just they have
a lot of soft, loose hanging tissue.
Yeah, a higher fat content in their thigh. It's just really soft. And I don't know if it's just that it can't get a good traction on it, or if it's the friction of them walking and moving because their thighs rub.
Yeah, that's a good point. And if we're talking about thigh highs and they're experiencing a lot of, their thigh high is falling down, when you think about how to keep up a pair of thigh highs, a really easy way to do that is just move somebody into pantyhose. So we can, we always say pantyhose is one of the best ways to keep a pair of thigh highs up. So if you are working with somebody that's a little bit larger or having trouble keeping their thigh highs up, certainly an option is to just move them into a pair of pantyhose. And another thing is we have the garter belts, watch out, Victoria's Secret. But yeah, we have garter belts and they can hold up the thigh highs as well. But I really do like pantyhose because, first of all, it kind of helps keep any soft, loose hanging tissue holding it in, up at the top. And, even if even if they have a pair of thigh highs and a pair of pantyhose, they can kind of choose what they want to do.
So this next question is, I have lymphedema and I've had it for years. My skin is hard, and can compression still help me?
Hard fibrotic tissue can be really challenging. And one of the fabrics that we developed is called the Juzo Strong fabric. So this is a flat knitted fabric. And one of the things that makes the Juzo Strong fabric so unique is we made the fabric with a micro massage weave. So it almost looks like a little tic-tac-toe grids all over. And these tiny little micro massage weave in the Strong fabric was specifically developed to help massage and break down hard fibrotic tissue with somebody's ambulation. So you get up, you're walking around, and you're wearing the Strong fabric. Just through your natural movements, that micro massage weave is going to massage against that hard fibrotic tissue formation and help to break it down. So definitely there are solutions to help with hard fibrotic tissue formations. A lot of that is going to have to do with working with your lymphedema therapist. But again, that special micro massage weave in our Strong fabric is going to be a really, really helpful solution.
And this next one is, my lower leg is really big, but my thigh is not. How can I get a garment to fit me?
So that is something that we see quite a bit of. And the good news is you can marry two styles to be worn together as one. So what do I mean by that? That means that you could have a pair of capris made, which would be sort of like pantyhose that end just below the bend of your knee. And then you could have that paired with a knee-high stocking. So this is going to allow you to have different compression levels in each one of those fabrics. And you could also use different fabrics if that's necessary. So maybe you have the Juzo Expert fabric used for your capris. And then if you have severe hard fibrotic tissue on the bottom, or it's a little bit more advanced, you could use the Strong for your knee high, or you could use different compression levels. So that, again, is just something that you would be talking with your lymphedema therapist and your certified fitter, but that's definitely an option. You can, choose different compression levels, and you can also use different fabrics.
And will insurance pay for any of this?
So that's a really tough question because insurances are different coverage-wise all over the country. So it really just depends on what your insurance company is and where you're at in the country as to what they're going to cover. Unfortunately, this remains to be a challenge and something that I'm very passionate about. I believe that this is a chronic progressive disease and everybody should have the benefit of coverage. But unfortunately, it's just, we see wide variations of that throughout the country. And that is definitely something that, we'd like to see change. Unfortunately, that's not something that Juzo plays a role in. We support our patients and our customers the best that we can. And I hope that changes someday soon.
All right, Caroline, thank you for answering my questions. Now I'm going to move on to some questions that were submitted on Instagram. I picked 2 that were submitted.
Okay.
The first one is from a woman who says that she has been wearing her compression arm sleeve. It is a Juzo Soft. She has a gauntlet that matches it, and that she has noticed that in the top of the arm, the fabric is peeling off. So she says it's like little balls of fabric, and she hasn't been wearing it very long. She wants to know if there's anything she can do about it, or is there a return policy where she could return it for another garment?
That's a great question. And the good news is Juzo has a really good return policy. As long as it's not damage that's caused by the user, you can absolutely take that garment back to wherever you purchased it, and they will return it and send you out a brand new garment. So pillage is not something that you should see on the garment. So it's my suggestion that you take that garment back to wherever you purchased it and have it returned and get it replaced.
All right. And our next question is about a recycle program. He says that he has many, many garments that he has bought over the years. Some of them are in great shape. Some of them are overused. And he's wondering if there's a way that he can return them to be recycled.
Juzo does not have a recycle program. I think that's a really nice that he wants to do that. But at the end of the day, when you think about medical compression garments, it's important to remember that they do all have memory threads. Juzo's compression garments have memory threads, and they will wear out over time. So it would not be a good idea to give somebody a recycled product because you have to consider how much usage has occurred, how long the garment's, been around, and those memory threads will wear out. So we couldn't give that to somebody and really know if that compression garment is going to be effective at maintaining the fluid balance in the body. So no, we don't have a recycle program, but definitely it's a nice idea. We just couldn't be able to guarantee the product.
All right, Caroline, that's all the questions that I have for you today. And actually, I want to throw you a curveball because you are like the best hype up woman I've ever heard for Juzo. Can you give me your top 3 favorite things about Juzo? If you're talking to a patient right now,
sure.
Like your top 3 favorite aspects of Juzo.
So easy. So my background, I came from the pharmaceutical industry, and I was really just looking for a change. And I remember 10 years ago walking into Juzo, and the owner of the company, Mrs. Zorn, and her daughter, Petra Zorn, who is the vice president of our company, was sitting at a table and interviewed me. So it's just important to remember this is a family business. And Mrs. Zorn's great-grandfather started Juzo 108 years ago. And one of my favorite things about Juzo is that we don't lose that idea that we are a family. We're in it together. We work side by side. Mrs. Zorn is involved in day-to-day activities. It's not like she's sitting behind a desk pushing paper. They have worked their butts off, heart, sweat, and soul to make Juzo the successful company that it is today. So my favorite thing about Juzo is that we're a family-run business, and you see that not only in really the quality of the product, but also in the way they give back and the way that they always do the right thing. So my favorite thing is that we're a family-run business. And my second favorite is that we really pride ourselves on the quality of compression. So as I said before, there's a lot of unethical mass distributors of crappy compression. And Juzo is one of the good guys. We're putting out the good stuff. It's good quality medical compression. And that's important. It's important because it makes a difference in people's lives. When you think about wearing these medical devices, these are a big part of people's lives. They have to wear them every single day, as soon as they wake up in the morning, and they take it off before they go to bed. So these things need to not only work and be efficacious, but they've got to be comfortable and something that somebody wears and isn't uncomfortable. So quality is definitely my third favorite thing about Juzo. Did I say third? I meant second favorite thing about Juzo. My third favorite thing about Juzo, they're such a good company. They just do the right thing. Good quality company.
I love it. I will say that of all the garments that I advocate for in the clinic, Juzo's probably the top one. I've always really enjoyed their products. Like I was telling you before, I do personally distribute them through another avenue to kind of help my Medicare patients be able to even have quality compression garments.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Juzo 100%. I'm a really big fan. I really, really love them.
Oh, we appreciate it. That's awesome. It is a really good company. And honestly, Mrs. Zorn is such a good person. And it was her great-grandfather that started Juzo back in Germany 108 years ago. And they just carry the philosophies, forward all these years. I mean, just doing the right thing and putting good quality garments out there. And you see it. You know what I mean? You put into something what you get out of it.
I love it. And if it's broke, don't fix it.
That's right.
All right, Caroline, thank you so much for answering all of my questions today. I already feel like I have a much better understanding of the difference between flat knit and circular knit garments, and I know that anyone who listens is going to feel the same way.
Oh, thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate it.
Hey, Lymphedema podcast listeners. This is Brittany Williams, founder of Bryland's Feet Foundation, the first and only nonprofit specific to pediatric lymphedema. Not only do we provide necessary treatment to children in need, help raise awareness, and promote education of lymphedema, we also host a free summer camp for children called Camp Watch Me. In order to continue making a positive impact on the pediatric lymphedema community, we need your help. Our biggest fundraiser of the year was canceled due to COVID. We have since switched gears to a virtual event. We are bringing you an interactive fundraising challenge that starts September 1st and ends with a live streaming event on September 24th. We are currently looking for companies or individuals to create teams. There are great prizes and giveaways for individual donors as well as team leaders. And the winning team's leader will receive an option between 2 prize getaways. If you would like to create a team, please reach out to me at brittany@brylandsfeet.org. And be sure to check our website, brylandsfeet.org/gala, for updates and more information. That's BRYLANSFEAT.org.
Mother Teresa says, loneliness and the feeling of being unwanted is the most terrible poverty. This podcast is here for you to find friendship and a community for your journey with lymphedema. Email me with your story if you would like to share, lymphedemapodcast@gmail.com, or visit the website lymphedemapodcast.com to submit a topic for another episode.